All right, guys, we got a good show for you today. Today with Benton Whitley is signed with the LA Rams and he played for Holy Cross in college. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I was doing some research and looking in on you, and I found something funny. Were you really a tour guide at the Basketball Hall of Fame?
Yeah, when I was in high school, like sophomore, junior year, it was just a minimum wage, like cool, like little side gig that I did just to get some money over the summer. So
Yeah, what was it like doing that?
it was awesome. Because I worked hoop hall, which is like the summer program in the Basketball Hall of Fame, and sometimes we had guys from the Celtics like Crowder, Ray Allen, guys that like were superstars in the NFL come in and talk and tour the Hall of Fame because not many people come to Springfield, Massachusetts for things other than the Hall of Fame. So
Yeah.
it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I just saw that, but I want to get a little bit into the draft process and then, back to high school and college. So, what was the draft process like for you? I know everyone's is different.
Yeah. So it was a lot of football. It all started with picking an agent. I feel like that was the hardest part of it. Not hardest, but it was the most like mentally taxing because you want a good agent because that's your foundation. That's how you get in contact with scouts and things like that. Um, And then the rest of it was really just football, talking to scouts about football, interviews, the games, and then just like the testing stuff. It was all pretty cool. I loved it.
Yeah. So I grew up watching all those games. Like I was a draft nut. So when you played in the games, do you think they made like a huge impact on, the draft process and everything and getting signed by LA? Or do you think it's more your pro day work and talking to teams?
I think the games had a pretty big impact, especially for guys like me. I come from a smaller school, like like even Lafayette, like is
Yeah.
pretty like it's not the biggest school. And then you go out there and play against guys from like Michigan State, USC, um, like LSU, like different FBS schools, and I feel like that really helps scouts see you against some better competition. So it definitely helped for sure.
Yeah. So when I grew up and I'd play these tournaments against these guys at big, schools, I get so nervous. I couldn't imagine what it's like being in front of NFL draft scouts. How did you deal with the nerves and everything?
You kind of get used to it. The first time I had a scout come to my practice was like early in camp, August of 2021. Um, and honestly, I just felt like kind of honored. Like it was kind of cool. It made me really excited to play in front of them. And then when I got to the game, I felt the same way. So it was awesome.
Yeah. So I'm assuming you watched day 3 of the draft. Can you take me through that process and how you in signing with LA?
Yeah. So day three of the draft, I had a lot of like day three grades from different teams, and different teams were like different coaches from different teams were telling me different things. But what ultimately ended up happening was I didn't get picked up. And then after the draft, I had offers from about 7 to 10 teams willing to give me an undrafted free agent contract. And so what I did, I got to pick which team I went to, which is kind of the benefit of that. And so I looked at the depth chart, like the scheme that they run, just where I fit best. And I felt like LA was definitely the spot for me.
Yeah. Is it nice to finally say at the end of the process you found a team?
Yeah. Yeah. It's all because now it's just football. Now I get to just like play. There's no more like talking to my agent, strategizing, things like that.
Yeah. So, when are you in LA or when do you arrive and what's the timetable for everything from now on?
Yeah, so I leave tomorrow morning actually, around like 8 a.m. And then I'll be there through rookie mini camp, and then through OTAs too. So I'll be there until like end of June,
Yeah, and
really.
then you just see what happens and you figure it out from there, I guess.
Yeah, and just get ready for preseason camp after that.
Yeah. So I want to transition a little bit back into high school. What was your high school football experience like? And did you play any other sports growing up in high school?
Yeah, so high school football is awesome. I didn't really start to have success on the football field though until I had a little bit of a growth spurt like my sophomore year. I kind of sprouted up, got a little bigger, started playing varsity, and I also wrestled in high school too. And wrestling was a big sport for me growing up. But yeah, playing football in high school, I didn't really start to get looks until my junior year, senior year, which is like typical for most kids in high school. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm speaking for myself, but I grew up in an area in Ohio that was not a lot of kids get recruited from. Correct me if I'm wrong, but Western Mass is not a big populated area, right?
Yeah, like New England is not necessarily a hotbed for football, and then Western Mass in New England is like the same thing. It's like even less recruited than the rest of New England. So you get kind of under recruited, but once I got the opportunity to go to Holy Cross, I took it for sure.
Yeah, can you kind of talk to me a little bit about your recruiting process and like what eventually made you go to Holy Cross?
Yeah, so my recruiting process, I was actually gonna wrestle in college. I was gonna wrestle D2 at U Chicago.
Mhm.
And then my football team went to a high school football camp at Holy Cross. And from that camp, I got offered a full scholarship. And then after that, a couple of scholarship offers started coming in. And eventually I just ended up sticking with Holy Cross because Holy Cross was the first that offered me. They showed the most interest and yeah, ended up
Yeah.
working out.
Yeah. Do you think like wrestling definitely helped your football game?
Yeah, like work ethic, just knowing my leverage, like using my hands, just different things that wrestling like helped a lot for sure.
Yeah. So you decided to like take advantage of the fifth year. I know like it was hard for a lot of people in the Patriot League and all the FCS programs with yours would have been your senior year. What made you like decide to do that fifth year and stay at Holy Cross to do it?
Yeah, I felt like in college I didn't necessarily do as much as I needed to. I also had 2 years of eligibility, so I still have a year of eligibility that I forego to enter the NFL draft. But felt like I still had a lot more to prove. And then I stayed at Holy Cross because I was just comfortable there. We were on the up and coming we had a great coaching staff. I had great teammates around me, so I just felt most comfortable there. And I'm glad I made the decision to stay.
Yeah. Was there like a time or like a play or like a moment where you like knew that the NFL was like a chance for you?
Yeah, we play against FBS teams like twice a year.
Yeah.
And so my junior year, 2019, we played against Syracuse and we played against BC the year before. And playing against those guys, I kind of like it wasn't much different than
Yeah.
how I felt in the Patriot League. And so I was like, I could probably do this. So
Yeah.
yeah,
So you won, correct me if I'm wrong, three Patriot League championships with your time at Holy Cross?
yeah,
Okay. So,
yeah.
what was it like, to win three of those and then go to the FCS playoffs?
Yeah, the first one, my junior year, was crazy because we hadn't won a Patriot League championship in 10 years at school. So we had like our football stadium's pretty decent size, and we had like half capacity.
Hmm.
We won the Patriot League championship, and everyone rushed the field, and it was awesome. It was like a historic moment. And then we didn't do so hot in the playoffs against Monmouth. And then the COVID year, we got to the playoffs again. We lost first round, but then last year we beat Sacred Heart in the first round for the first time in Holy Cross history. We won the first round of the playoffs, and so I just feel like getting to the playoffs is like I say it's uncharted territory because no one in Holy Cross history has been there before, and that's where we kind of start writing history for Holy Cross. And so I just thought it was really cool. Yeah.
Do you think after winning that like first Patriot League championship, you had like the culture like changed and it was like became an expectation to win?
Well, I feel like the culture changed like the year before that. Actually, we came
Okay.
second in the Patriot League to Colgate, but that year is when the culture changed. And even though we lost, we were making huge strides, and that improvement just continued and continued, and we started winning, and it's just getting better and better. So,
Yeah. So what makes Holy Cross, you think, a powerhouse? I'm just
I would just say like the full effort, like it's a full team effort. Everybody in the building, nobody's more important than anybody. I feel like on our team, all the way from the head coach down to the janitors in the building, like everybody's really appreciated and everybody's really locked in too.
yeah. So who was the team like you hated to play the most in college, you say?
In college or in the Patriot League?
You can do. It's probably gonna be Patriot League. I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, there's no team I really hated to play like that much, but I'll probably say like actually outside the Patriot League, the team I hated to play the most was Yale for sure because just their stadium was so hot. It was always so hot when we played there. It
Yeah.
was yeah, we played them twice at their place, once at our place, but when we played them at their place, it was always like a dogfight.
Who's the team in the Patriot League? Would you say?
Uh, like, I mean, I don't really hate to play teams in the Patriot League that
No,
much,
but
but
who
I'll
was the
probably
team
say
like? Who was the team like you knew like every year you were gonna get a battle from them, no matter how like the record was or anything? Was there a team?
definitely Fordham. Like, and I always look forward to Fordham though. I always look forward to like competing because they're typically the number 2 team in the Patriot League, and they had some good players, some good athletes on that team. So it was always like that was always a dogfight.
Yeah. So I saw there's a you played for like a coaching legend, Mike Putko. Like
Yeah.
what was it like playing for him, and what'd you like learn the most from him, you think?
Yeah, his philosophy on coaching was a lot different than I've been accustomed to throughout my whole like athletic career.
Hmm.
And he really allowed us as defensive linemen, especially, to just go and get it. Like, you know what I mean? He just
Yeah.
kind of let us loose and just helped us embrace being like savage D linemen. And I feel like that's something that he's brought with him to high school that he coached in the past. He brought to Assumption and he brought to Holy Cross too. And I feel like that's why that's part of the reason why we had like the top defense in FCS because of our D line play.
Yeah. No, yeah, that's awesome. So one thing I learned after like my first year in college, like my biggest piece of advice I always tell people, it's like every day is different. You got to take it day by day. What was like at the end of college, like what would you say would be the best piece of advice you'd give somebody about to go to college?
Um, yeah, there are a few things, but I'd say the top thing is don't ever let yourself get too high or don't ever let yourself get too low because you take bumps, but every time you lose, there's got to be a lesson. Like you got to keep pushing forward, you got to keep moving and keep learning because I'd say from the beginning of my college career to the end, I'm a totally different person. And
Mhm.
so, like, as you keep going along the way, you're going to continue to learn, continue to grow, and just focus on your goal and just make sure you go get it for sure.
Yeah. No, that's great advice. Final three questions. So, what was one of like your funniest stories or memories from your time in college?
uh, I mean, we got a lot of funny stories, but uh,
Is there one that stands out?
uh, I wouldn't say there's one that stands out, but it's just a lot of fun. Like, as you know, like a lot of funny stuff goes on in the dorms. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was definitely one of the dorm stories.
Yeah. One of those.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you like a big Boston sports fan?
I actually don't watch sports that much. I watch playoff sports a lot, but I actually don't like watch sports like that. But I actually am. If I were to say I'm a basketball fan, I'm a Celtics fan for sure, and I'm
Yeah.
also a Patriots fan. That's how I grew up.
So, did you ever have like that guy like you grew up watching like in football and you're like, man, I want to be like him one day, or no?
Not really, not in football, but in wrestling, I had a few guys that I used to look up to, just the way they did things, and those guys were like guys you probably don't know them. They're named like Kyle Dake, guys like Kyle Snyder, Ed Ruth, like guys like that. Like I was a big wrestler growing up, so those are the guys I kind of looked up to.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. I have not heard a lot of like football guys. They always have that guy, but okay. Last question. So, so you're going to like a new locker room. So if you could like choose one song to play like every time you walk in the locker room, like what would that be?
Uh, hmm, I don't know, like because I mean there are different vibes. Like you know, they like sometimes you want to be like have fun, sometimes you want to be serious, get pumped up. But I
Do you have a
say for
go-to
one
song before a
song,
game then? Like,
yeah, um, Rex, yeah,
yeah,
yeah, Rex for sure.
yeah, no, everyone's got something. So I thought I would ask that one. Well, Ben, I wish you the best of luck, man. It's been fun. I really appreciate it, man, and best of luck.
Yeah, thank you.